Welcome back to the Charismatic Voice. Today we're going to dive into Live for the first time. And in preparation, I did read the lyrics, and they are so touching and sweet and introspective. And I'm really looking forward to how they just soar with melody. But before we get to it, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor for today's video, BetterHelp. We just hit 2025, and dates like this remind me that there is a lot that I want to live up to. Other than our regular releases 3 times a week to 1.8 million subscribers, which I feel a lot of pressure for and responsibility to be on point for. We also are fulfilling a successful Kickstarter campaign. We're forging a new path in voice science, and I have kiddo number 2 in my belly on the way. Straight up, I feel stressed, and I don't think I'd be able to handle that stress without the tools that therapy has provided me. Therapy not only helps me to balance my life and focus my energy on what matters most, it also helps me to mentally set aside stresses that I'm not able to address on a given day. There will always be something that's out of our control that we need to shelve for later or learn to let go of. Therapy isn't just about making it through a life crisis, although I can attest it is very helpful for that. Therapy can also be about daily breakthroughs and building healthy habits. I want every person to feel capable of succeeding in their life every day. That's just one of the reasons I appreciate BetterHelp, because they make therapy easy to access and easy to make a part of your hectic schedule. To sign up for BetterHelp, you simply go online and fill out a questionnaire, and you'll be matched with a therapist in as little as a couple of days. You aren't restricted to local matches, and BetterHelp has a network of over 30,000 therapists. So if you need somebody with a special expertise or you're looking for someone that you just really click with, through BetterHelp, you can find the right fit. You can also switch therapists at any time with no additional cost. One of the major bonuses of BetterHelp is that it is all online. You don't have to drive to therapy or deal with parking, which, as a mom with a 2-year-old, makes a huge difference. And you can message your therapist at any time. I've used BetterHelp a number of times, and I fully recommend it to friends, family, and to our viewers. You can click the link in description or go to betterhelp.com/charismatic voice to get 10% off your first month. Now, let's dig into some music. I like that chord progression.
Lightning crashes, a new mother cries. Hopeless until falls to the floor. The angel opens her eyes. The confusion sets in before the doctor can even close the door.
This is so emotional right away, and yet it is so simple. I think the chord progression and just the repetitiveness, we've got essentially 4/4 time, and we've got 4 sets of chords. The last 2 are the same. It's not complicated at all, but it has a certain emptiness to it. It almost feels like the time just slowed down. And when we get his voice in, this is Ed, whose last name, uh, Kowalczyk, I think, or it might be Kowalczyk, comes from Polish. Um, I might be pronouncing it wrong still. I did look it up, just to put that out there. I looked it up, Kowalczyk or Kowalczyk. Uh, when his voice comes in, there's a lot of tension in it. There's like almost a tremble in the sound, but it isn't really powerful. Instead, it feels like there's a hesitancy, like dare somebody break some sort of sacred silence that's occurred. It has so much tension that it brings actually to the music, and it's almost feels like you could hear a needle drop within this record. Let's go back to the beginning.
Lightning crashes, a new mother cries.
His intensity reminds me a little bit of Maynard James Keenan.
Hopeless until it falls to the floor. The angel opens her eyes. The confusion sets in before the doctor can even close the door.
So simple and so effective.
Lightning crashes, an old mother dies. Her intentions fall to the floor. The angel closes her eyes.
Whoa.
Confusion that was hers belongs now to the baby down the hall.
So this is just the lyrics are super beautiful. This idea of in the first verse you have a mother, a new mother essentially with baby, and then in the second verse you have an older mother that's passing, and it's they're talking about this the cycle of life, the circle of life, as put by the Lion King. I think that it's really getting at one of the big mysteries that we have in human existence, and pulling at some of the most emotional moments that we can ever experience. And his voice carries that emotion really, really well. I was very impressed with one particular moment when he soared up higher. Already in the lows, we've had a ton of emotion, but when he went higher, it felt like it just almost exploded for a moment with feeling. I'm gonna go back a little.
Doctor can even close the door.
I loved this flash where they disappeared and the shift of scenes here. And then it's a really interesting production choice right there. As they're moving into the next verse, it takes us into a different area of reverb. And that works really well with the lyrics and this idea that you're essentially in two different rooms. Different rooms have different acoustics. And so we've been taken into, it feels like a larger room with this this next verse.
Lightning crashing, an old mother
A little bit more
dies.
presence too in the music.
Her intentions fall to the floor. The angel closes her eyes. The confusion that was hers
Beautiful.
belongs now to the baby down the hall.
Just want to shout out to whoever filmed this video. I loved the symbolism. We had all of these hands on faces and then praying and then looking up. There's been so many parallel elements in various scenes. This is just beautifully filmed. Very, very touching music video to go with very touching lyrics and emotional vocal delivery.
Belongs now. Take the baby down the hall.
And the coloring is also gorgeous.
Oh, I feel it coming back again, like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from the center of the earth. I can feel it. Lightning crashes on mother cries.
I think that the shift in what feels like the acoustic space at various times in this song has been really impressive. Just the production has done a great job of not overdoing it, but essentially letting us move into different chapters of the song. And I think it's so beautiful. Sometimes in music, we move into different chapters by introducing new sounds. And sometimes we move into new chapters by uh, changing our perspective on the sounds that we already hear. This is definitely the latter of those two. And I have a lot of respect for what's been done with this production. I think it's beautiful. We're going to talk a lot about his vocal technique, but I want to hear a little more still. There's a sparseness here and the intensity, and I've heard him sing in a couple different ranges. There's a lot that's going on, and I want to hear more still before we really, really dig in.
I feel it coming back again, like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from the center of the earth. I can feel it. Lightning crashes on mother cries.
Addition of sounds now.
Been waiting for. The angel opens her eyes,
Whoa.
pale blue colored eyes, presents the circle, puts the glory out to hide, hide. Oh, my feeling coming back again, like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from the center of the earth. I can feel it.
Like the build of this. It really, it feels like something's about to just sweep over us. Like it's like you see the emotions coming from far out, and you know they're gonna crash, um, but you're not quite prepared even for when they do crash. Let's talk a little bit about Ed's voice technique at this point. I have been really curious to see where it was going because it was so sparse at the beginning and also pent up. So I was thinking, okay, like, what is his voice going to blossom into? Because I could feel it really, it, it was preparing us for a blossoming. Um, I mentioned Maynard James Keenan before because I think that he has one of the absolute best deliveries of like that pent up intensity, angst. He is the embodiment of angst. And here, I think his voice is representing so well at the beginning bottled up emotion. It's like it's got a cork, but it's building and building and building. It's almost like that mead that your mom made in the basement that eventually popped the bottle and exploded everywhere because there was so much pressure inside the bottle. He's, I think, in bringing more intensity into the sound, he's actually locking up a lot of the vocal mechanism. another reason I wanted to hear it play out a little bit more. He keeps his jaw really, really tight, and it's like he's manifested a lot of physical tension that we often associate with holding back emotion like that. And absolutely, we hear that in a person's voice. So it's like there's tightness in the jaw, even in some of the enunciation. It lends itself a little bit more towards a grunge style. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some sort of inspiration or influence from Chris Cornell in here. I'm actually not sure about the timing. I think they're around the same time, 90s. Um, he has a similar a feeling of that built up, and even the R coloration is leaned into a lot. So we have that kind of grunge technique. I should really say style here. I'm just essentially having a more closed mouth. And then as he went on, I was really surprised when he transferred into the highs. It had a lot more ease. And it made me realize that when he initially started the song, he was actually probably in the bottom of his range. And then as we've gotten into this section, as he starts to open up with a sound, his mouth is starting to drop a lot more. I'm not just saying what I visually see. This is what I hear and how the sound is being produced. So we have a wider space in the mouth, letting a lot more energy out and pour out. So I'm guessing that there's a lot less that's really held in the face and the neck at this point. Let's go back to where it starts to open up here. There's so much more to talk about. So I think that's really interesting. So let's see, 250 is where we're at. Really interesting to contrast that tone quality with somewhere in here.
An old mother died.
Is it here?
Her intentions fall to the floor. The angel closes her eyes.
So those are very similar pitches that he's going over, right? That's the same range. But when we're back here at 250, it had so much more grit in the sound, more distortion that is being added to the sound. The first one actually was still what I would call a fairly narrow space in the vocal tract. But he also has a lot of soft palate drop there. So we're getting quite a bit of nasality in the sound too. And it feels very controlled. When we come over here,
Pale blue colored eyes.
let's go back a little bit.
The angel opens her eyes.
It's interesting. He actually has less soft palate drop at that moment. And I think there's a little more narrowing in this part of the throat, which is where it sounds like the distortion is coming from to me. We need to study that a lot more, FYI. But it's fascinating because there's more drop of the jaw as well. Those two instances, although they are the same general pitch areas, the vocal technique behind them is wildly, wildly different.
The angel opens her eyes. Pale blue colored eyes.
It's so emotional.
Presents the circle, puts the glory out to hide. Oh, my feeling coming back again, like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from the center of the earth. I can feel it. I can feel it.
Really got shivers. I really got shivers there. Oh. It's amazing how sometimes the gritty, almost ugly parts of the song are really what gets us, right? Like, oh, That part got to me. I love the build here, and then the opening into what feels like we're going to a bridge. Side note, I especially as a 5-month pregnant lady right now, right, and I have my 2-year-old at home, as well. Seeing all of these images of birth and new baby, they're really getting to me. I'm both feeling really excited and also really scared because delivery is terrifying, but so very, very special. So, well done, video team. You got me. Wow.
I can feel it coming back again, like a rule. Thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from center of the other again. I can feel it.
I think that the tempo is speeding up too. Has it been on a slightly like a slight uphill the whole time? I'm not sure. It definitely is making my heart race more and more as the song is going on. And and I love the way that the soundscape is filling up more and more. And it wouldn't have this effect. Just keep this in mind. It wouldn't have this incredible effect if we hadn't started with that like needle drop sort of silence and hush in the very first part. Another, I want to say one of the appealing things I think about Ed's voice is the rawness of it. He definitely has what I would describe as like very unpolished edges, uh, and that's not bad. Some people will be like, "Oh, whoa, like we need to like put that like back together." Hey, if it's working for him, cool. If he starts to have a lot of vocal fatigue, then go work on that and make sure you're keeping it for the long road. I hear like moments where it sounds like there needs to be extra stabilization as breath pressure is adjusting or things like that. But what's happening is because it's so raw, the emotion is it is communicating through in such an excellent way. I think that in a lot of society today, we have prioritized perfect vocal technique over the emotional delivery. I also say this having done lots of vocal competitions for opera. For me, the person that always should win is the person who moves me the most, that I feel most touched by whatever they've sung. And sometimes you get just stuff that is so beautiful but almost cold that often wins. And I would much, much prefer someone that can make me weep. However, please, please, if your voice is not feeling good, seek some help so that you can continue to make people weep your entire life.
I can feel it coming back again, like a rule. Thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from center of the other again. I can feel it.
He has really good control of distortion.
I can feel it coming back again,
Ooh.
like a rule. Thunder chasing the wind, forces pulling from center of the other again. I can feel it.
I love the vocal layers that were added here. Also, the scene is so touching. It's also touching to see band members essentially leaving shadows behind. It's almost like predicting the how a band would split up or that band members will eventually pass away.
Like a rule, thunder chasing the wind, horses pulling from the center of the earth again. I can feel it coming back again. Like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, horses pulling from the center of the earth again. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it.
At the end of this, it feels like we've really embraced the acknowledgement that sometimes life is really ugly and sometimes it is really beautiful. And his voice, he has bite, he has gravel at the end. It almost loses as much of that melodic sense as well. It just feels like things have fallen apart, yet somehow they're still held together. This feels so introspective and deep and profound. Let's go back a little bit. Let's go back a little bit. Just appreciate these last few moments. I'll let it play out.
I can feel it coming back again. Like a rolling thunder chasing the wind, horses pulling from the center of the earth again. I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel
This is a powerful song and a powerful music video. I shout out to everyone that's worked on this because I mean from the composition to the production to the visuals that go with it. It's just and I should also say to the execution of the composition by the musicians. It's just really 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 well done. Very impressive. What an incredible introduction to live. If you want to see some more music that I find similar, some analysis of that, I'll put up a playlist over here. Uh, though I don't know if we'll ever really get the exact same feeling that this video was able to give us. And that's one of the beautiful things about music. You can experience so many different feelings so profoundly through so many different songs and bands. May you fall more in love with music every day.